Yo, 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 yo. You know what this is, man? It's your favorite channel, man. It's CTB. It's Chin Tub Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. So what up to him, man?
What's up, everybody? Remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing.
It is a fact, most definitely. Do yourself a favor, man. Subscribe to the channel. We drop content every week. Uh, Also hit that thumbs up button for us so we get more subscribers. Hit the thumbs down button if you don't agree with our video. It don't matter. Send a comment, man, so we can come back, so we can talk to our people, man, and see what you think about our videos. But with that being said, man, what's on the topic for today?
Let's give a short recap of the fight Saturday night. But let's also talk about an interesting thing that Showtime said that Canelo was interested in either fighting Charlo or David Benavides next. The question is, who is the bigger and better fight?
It's a good question, man. Let's talk about it. Yeah, man, it was a great fight. A fight in which, if y'all watched our prediction video, we was 100% accurate on. Both me and mine, we was pretty much spot on, man. If you would have bet on the round we told you to bet on, which we are now upset because we didn't have the opportunity to bet. We both forgot to the morning of, but it is what it is. It happens. But yeah, if you would have listened to us, man, and put that money on that on the round on 11 round stoppage, you would have won some money, man. All right, real quick, man, give your breakdown of the fight, man, and let us know what you thought about the fight.
Like you said, man, it pretty much went exactly like we said. If you watch the video, just watch it. If you didn't see the fight, you can watch our last video and you pretty much get the whole recap of what happened in the fight. And like I said, I knew Plant was game. I knew he was a great fighter. He's a great defensive fighter. And it's only one thing I didn't say about the fight that I wish I did, that I forgot to talk about, was he kind of lacks power. And I thought that could play a factor in the fight, and it kind of did, because he had good defense, but he didn't have enough power to make Canelo respect him in those later rounds. He didn't do anything to really hurt Canelo, and once Canelo realized he couldn't get hurt, he just started walking through him and walking forward. And like you said, that body work, you know what I'm saying, them early rounds started to show. He couldn't move as much. He was kind of stuck on the ropes. And like we said, around 11 round, he got caught, and it was night, man. Big ups to for Plant for putting up a hell of a fight, getting a lot of respect from the people that were disrespecting him, and big ups to Canelo showing why he's probably the best fighter in the world right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Big up the Plant, man. Like you said, I knew he was gonna be a game fighter. I knew his movement was gonna give Canelo a lot of issues, which he did early. But I knew, like we said, we knew Canelo was gonna figure him out, which he did figure him out. He started letting those body shots, which I called it money in the bank. Slowed down on feet of Plant, and like I said, it was after that. It was 11th round stoppage, like I called it. I will say this though, really quick. The scorecards. A lot of people are talking about how they feel Plant was ahead in the crowd in the round. Some people say Canelo was slightly ahead. I wasn't scoring the fight, but you were scoring the fight, and you text me and let me know that you had Canelo up by 2. And I kind of agree with you off the eye test. Like I said, I didn't have a chance. I was doing other things also, so I didn't have a chance to score it. But I was watching the fight, and yeah, from what Steve Farhood, his name is Steve Farhood, from what he showed in the what you call it, unofficial score, I knew that was wrong off top. Like, it can't be. I had Killer Plant winning a lot of those early rounds, at least 3 or 4 of those early rounds. So I knew that couldn't been right. So for all the people who are saying that, Killer Plant would have won if the fight kept going on, it was a whole nother round to go after that. Canelo eliminated all that. Canelo pretty much put a stop to all that, where he knocked him out, or where he stopped him rather. So you really can't be upset with the fact that if you did have Killer Plant ahead, you really can't say, oh, he would have won the fight. Canelo didn't stop him. Canelo game plan was to stop him. That was the way Canelo was fighting the whole fight. His game plan wasn't to go to the scorecards. He knew eventually he was going to catch him with a big shot, and he was going to end the night early, and that's what happened. So big up to a great fight, man. Big up to both of them, man. Both of them showed their grit, man. I enjoyed the fight thoroughly. The undercards were kind of, suspect, but the Rail also. The Rail had a nice highlight reel knockout with the uppercut, was vicious. But his opponent, was kind of, expected to get knocked out that way. But on to the topic of the show, man. Which is the bigger fight? The bigger/better fight? Because now Canelo needs an opponent for May. He plans to come back in May doing Cinco de Mayo. And rumors is it might be Charlo. It could be Benavides. So, which is the bigger and better fight? And give me your reasons why.
You texted me this earlier, and I thought it was a great topic because the whole weekend has kind of been the talk after the Plant fight, and I think you texted me like 4 hours ago about that, maybe early in the day, and I was back and forth. It took me a while to really decide on how I want to answer that question, really. And what I came up with was, I think it's two answers to that. I think the bigger fight, honestly, I think the bigger fight is David Benavides. I think with the, especially the next up, the Cinco de Mayo, both of them being Mexican fighters. David Benavidez with his style, the way he talk, and with Canelo being Mexican, I think it's a bigger fight as far as numbers, as far as money, and as far as the better fight. I'm gonna go with Charlo. I think Charlo can be a slightly more competitive because I think he's better defensively. I think he's also a big man also. But the problem with Charlo that I have is he's not a 168-pound fighter. He's a 160-pound fighter. I think he has the frame to be 168, but I think he needs to fight somebody at 168 before he fights Canelo. So I would rather see David Benavidez in May because it's Cinco de Mayo anyway. Two guys, Mexican fighters, right on a holiday. I think it'll be an explosive, exciting fight. And then around that same time frame, if Charlo can get him a tune-up fight at 168 to get adjusted to the weight, and in September, Charlo and Canelo. So if you ask me for the bigger fight, I'm gonna go with David Benavidez. If you ask me for the better fight, I'm gonna slightly go with Charlo. I think Charlo will be a slightly more competitive fight, but I think they're both good fights, and I think Charlo and David Benavidez both have a opportunity to beat Canelo, even though I favor Canelo in both fights.
Okay, I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum on both ends. I feel I think that their better fight will be the Benavidez fight. I think Benavidez will be there to get hit, and I think he's going to put the pressure on Canelo. It's going to be the power puncher versus the boxer in that aspect. Everybody know Canelo has punching power. We know that. Everybody knows Benavidez has punching power. We both know that. But I think, in my opinion, David Benavidez is the bigger puncher of the two from the eye test. What the eye test has shown me. Even though David Benavidez hasn't fought the level of competition Canelo is, I'll still favor him when it comes to punching power. And he throws. I think so, bro. I think so. Canelo coming up in weight, while he did break Billy Joe Saunders' face, he did stop, Callum Smith to the body and all that, and Yildirim to the body and all that. But that's those levels of opponents supposed to get stopped. After watching this Killer Plant fight and watching the stuff he was hitting Plant with, and Killer Plant staying in the game as long as he did, I think Benavidez would have stopped Killer Plant if that was the same. If he had the same power of Killer, you know what I'm trying to say. But on top of that, David Benavidez, he throws a lot of punches, bro. He throws, for his size, he throws every bit of like 40 punches around sometimes, 30 to 40 punches around sometimes. Canelo is known to be a counterpuncher. Canelo don't have the best feet in the world, so he's going to have a lot of opportunities to land a shot on Benavidez, who sometimes lacks on his defense, most of the time lacks on his defense and blocks a lot of punches with his face. So it will be an all-out war, man. I think that'll be the better fight, to be honest, as long as it lasts. Charlo, on the other hand, I think it's the bigger fight on Cinco de Mayo because if they had that fight in Texas, anywhere near where the Charlos are from, they're going to pack the house with both Charlo fans and both Mexican fans. So the gate going to sell out immediately. On top of that, I hate to say it, but we know how race is. We know what race plays in the sport of boxing. It's going to be a tribal thing. So yeah, if it's two Mexican fighters, yes, it's a great fight. It's a all Mexican fight. But nothing sells tickets more than a Mexican independence, say Mexican Puerto Rican fight on Cinco de Mayo, Mexican and Black on Cinco de Mayo. Those, in my opinion, sell pay-per-views a lot better because you're getting the tribal sale, like you're getting the Black market and you're getting the, the Mexican market. So in my opinion, that would be the bigger fight. Also, not to mention, Charlo has a pay-per-view name already. He's been on pay-per-view before, while David Benavidez, in my opinion, is still unproven. And he hasn't had a tough opponent, in my opinion. Well, you can give Charlo credit for beating Devinchenko and what was the other guy he beat? J. Rock Williams. I think J. Rock was the win that that threw him over the top pretty much with that knockout he did on J-Rock. So with those 2 wins, I think Charlo will bring in the bigger crowd. So I'm on opposite ends of the spectrum. Think about that.
I agree with you. I see where you're coming from. I just think that I don't know. I just think that David Benavides is just bigger with numbers. I think that he's more popular than Charlo. I think Charlo is. I think he sells, but from what we've seen in the past, his numbers are subpar to me. Maybe that could be because of the opponent. I don't know. But David Benavides seems to have a lot of popularity, and he hasn't fought anybody, to be honest. I mean, for the fighters like Charlo have. So I just think that it'll be a bigger fight. But like I said before, I think Charlo has a better chance of beating Canelo because I think he has more slick boxing skills than David Benavides. I don't think that the guy that's just gonna sit in front of him and think he's gonna overwhelm Canelo is gonna work. I think if you throw too much Canelo, he's gonna beat the shit out you. That's just what I feel. I think it may bother Canelo early, but I think as it goes along, I think he's gonna wear David Benavidez down because he's not good. He's not good enough defensively to beat Canelo. I think with Charlo, he's a little bit more defensive. His defensive responsibility is a lot better than David Benavidez. Even though I don't know if he hits as hard. The only thing that scares me with Charlo, like I said before, he's never fought at 168. And I don't know how that 8 pounds is going to do or affect him in the fight. But if he can move up to 168 and get adjusted to the weight, because naturally he's still a bigger guy than Canelo. He's 6 feet. Well, they're both big guys. But that's another thing too, because even with Plant was a lot bigger than Canelo to me, as far as just his height and his reach. And Charlo and David Benavidez is bigger than Plant. So I'm curious to how it would turn out, man. I just hope that he decides to fight both of them because I think both of them will be awesome fights. Now the question I would ask you: do you think anybody out there can beat Canelo? If do you think Charlo can beat him? Do you think David Benavidez can beat him? Do you think what's his name, Bivol?
Bevel, yeah.
Yeah, you think he has a chance to beat him at 175? Or you think right now just can't nobody beat Canelo? He just
Yeah. In my opinion, I don't see nobody from 160 to 175 beating Canelo at this point. I think Canelo is on his game. All the top names from those from those weight classes, all those guys are tailor-made for Canelo, in my opinion. I think Caleb Plant was the only guy, and maybe not Laura, but Bubu Andrade. I think Bubu Andrade has a style that could possibly give him problems the way Killer Plant did, but I think Bubu will get caught also. He probably get caught earlier than Killer Plant did, in my opinion. Because his level of opponents is not as high as Killer Plant's, in my opinion. I think Killer Plant has fought the better competition better than Bubu. But I will say this. I would say in the next 2 or 3 years, if say Boots Ennis comes up to that weight class and Canelo decided to meet him in the catch weight, I think Boots has the style to give Canelo issues. He's the only person I see close to making 160 that I think can make 160 in a couple years, 3 to 4 years. Let's say 5 years. By then, Canelo probably be older at that point also. They probably got a lot to deal with it. But I think Boots has the style to beat him. If Earl Spence decided to go up in there, wait, that'd be a good fight. But I think he'll beat Earl also, only because of the size advantage. And the way Earl fights is, like you said, tailor-made for Canelo. So I don't see that being pretty good. But back to what you said earlier. You said something earlier that had me thinking a little bit. I do think Charlo is the better fight for Canelo, better than Benavidez. I still think the better fight, like the better fight for the crowd or for the fans, would be Benavidez because of the action-packed fight. So I just want to say that. The only thing I was saying that Benavidez had a better chance of beating him than.
Oh, okay, yeah, I agree with you.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't saying that. Yeah, I wasn't saying that Charlo does have the better chance of beating him than Benavidez because of the jab and the footwork and movement. But the better fight for the fans, especially most definitely David Benavidez, hands down. But in my opinion, in closing, I think the two guys should fight each other and the winner should face Canelo. I think Charlo and David Benavidez should fight each other. Maybe they should do on a Canelo undercard, kind of how what Mayweather was doing with Canelo. Put him on the undercard And
And
the
who
winner,
will Canelo fight?
probably maybe
Who?
Bivol, maybe he can have a tune. Maybe he can have a tune-up in between. You know, who knows? Who would you like to see him fight?
I would pay to watch it. I will if you put David Benavides and Charlo on the undercard. If you made them a main fight, I will pay for it. But if you made them the undercard and you gave Canelo, like you said, Boo Boo Andrade, I don't think I wouldn't call Boo Boo a tune-up, but I think, like you said, most people that know boxing would figure Canelo will win that fight. You can't underestimate Boo Boo, but I don't think he can beat him if Plant couldn't beat him. But if you had him as the main event and you had Charlo and David Benavides as the undercard and the winner fight him in September, that would be a hell of a fight. I will watch it. And yeah, for the boxing fan, I would love to see that.
That'd be a hell of a card, man. I would pay $100 for that card easily.
Yeah,
That's two.
yeah.
It's pretty much two great main events in one, and you can sell both. Cause both groups of fighters have bad blood. Both Benavides and Charlo have been going back and forth for a year or two now. And Booba Andre just interrupted Canelo's press conference when he Billy Joe Saunders. So you can sell both fights on its own, but putting them on the same card with all the marbles being laid, saying your winner, it's a tournament. Say it's a tournament. The winners face each other, the losers face each other, blah blah blah. That'd be a great thing for boxing. Will it happen though? Probably not. I don't see the promoters giving that away for that price range. They'll try to make those two their own cards on his own, which is sad for boxing, man, because we won't get the cards that we want. What's your I think it's related to this topic, man? This is a great topic.
No, I think we covered it all. We'll probably discuss more about this topic a little bit later on.
Most definitely. With that being said, man, this is your favorite channel, man. This is ETB. Chance Up Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say peace to him, man.
All right, everybody. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, God, peace, and love, and we out of here.